That's the one I was not here. You guys missed me. So this first one asking for slope. How do I find the slope of a line?
Slope of a line.
By finding. When they give you 2 points, how do you find the slope of a line? Feel free to write this down too, also, if you want. So now
subtracting y1 and y2.
Yeah, y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. So this slope is equal to -3 minus 1 over 2, and then you change the -5 to +5. We did this in class a bunch of times. Remember, these are not just random. These are the ones that were missed the most. I don't do a printout for these because they're not numbered. So even if I gave you a printout, it doesn't mean anything because you don't know which one's number 1 and which one's number 2. And the way it's delivered to you is it's scrambled anyways. The order is shuffled. But I mean, I could tell you how much each of these were missed. I have access to it, but I can tell you these were the ones that missed the most. I think everything here, less than half of the people that took it got it right. So less than half of you got this one right. Write an equation in slope-intercept form of a line that passes through each point with a given slope. And so they want this in slope-intercept form. The way I showed you was first to go to point-slope form. What would I write first if I was going to write this in point-slope form?
Y minus y1.
But what is y1?
Y1 is -4.
So it'll be y plus 4 equal to
M parentheses.
Which is 3 parentheses and then x plus 3. Assuming that you actually know what point slope form is, this would be the most likely culprit of you getting it wrong. People forget to change the signs, but then at the same time, I tried to influence that and remind you. I put an emphasis on that so that you wouldn't forget. But if they wanted it in point slope, some of these ask you for point slope, then you'd be done. But this is slope intercept, so you have to solve for y. So y plus 4 is equal to 3x plus 9 minus 4 minus 4. Y is equal to 3x plus 5. Writing the same thing, slope intercept form. The difference is now instead of giving you the slope, they're giving you 2 points. So what are we going to have to do first? Find the slope. Slope is equal to 8 and then plus 8, because I changed the sign to the second y, and then -5 plus 3. It gives me 16 over -2, which gives me -8. My slope is -8. Huh? I think it's Diana's fault, to be honest. I think it's Diana's fault. She would have been sitting in her seat yesterday from the beginning, and we would have gotten it right. All right, so now we have to pick a point. Doesn't matter which point. Sarah, since you seem to be the one of the few that are awake this morning, I'll let you pick. Pick a point. Okay, so if you want to use -3 and -8, that would then be y plus 8 is equal to the -8, that's the slope, and then x plus 3. But they want it in slope intercept, so we have to again solve for y. -8x minus 20 minus 8 minus 8. Y equals -8x.
What if I put -5?
Okay, what if you put -5 and 8? Let's see what happens. Y minus 8 is equal to the same slope of -8 and then x plus 5. So you get y minus 8 equal to -8x minus 40 plus 8 plus 8. Boy, look at that.
Know what I did?
the exact same thing.
I misplaced the bracket. I put negative 8 in x place and negative positive 5.
And solve. If she'd be writing this down now, you would have gotten it right. She's not writing it down. That's weird. These are, I don't know how much easier I could make it, yeah. Because like I literally gave you this was, I mean, maybe you didn't understand the format. These were one of the ones that had like a grid, so they had like but I believe I had it programmed. It forced you to put an answer on each line, so that way maybe you wouldn't get confused. You knew you had to answer each line. But if we identify A, B, and C, what's A here?
A, 1.
It is 1 that's in front of the X. What's B?
Negative 6.
And what's C? So as long as you study, you know that your x-intercept is C over A, which is 2 over 1 is 12. And then the y-intercept is C over B, which gives you negative 2. That right there counted as 2 points. You had 2 different lines to Donnie, you getting all this down? So you can do the retake, catch it on the flip side. Find the slope-intercept form of the of this line. Okay. Well, they actually do highlight 2 points for you, so you could treat this just like the one that we've already done with 2 points. But if you were clever about this, what's nice about this problem? As far as trying to find the slope and the y-intercept. As far as finding the slope and the y-intercept, what's nice about giving it to you in this form where you can actually see the graph? What's nice about this form where they give you the graph? Trayshawn, do you know? Huh? They give you the y-intercept. I already know the y-intercept is 2. So what's the only thing you really have to find here? The slope. You could use a y-intercept point to find the slope. Or I'm just going to assume that most people use the 2 points they gave you, so I'll just use those 2. But it doesn't matter. You can use any 2 points. At least I already know the y-intercept. So slope is equal to subtract the y is 5 and then plus 3. And then negative 3 and minus 5. So that gives me 8 over negative 8, which gives me negative 1. Which one of these has a slope of negative 1 and a y-intercept of 2? B. You shouldn't swear. Because it's bad. It's not as bad as wearing a hoodie in class after the teacher asks you to take it off. Or to be gently massaging your phone, thinking that that's going to make it feel better. That's also bad. Does your phone love you back, Luis? Está dando coquita. Ooh, fractions. But we don't know yet for sure that we're going to get a fraction. It just happens to be that this is multiple choice. So Donnie, what are we going to do first? Good job, Donnie. When you lose that seat, you'll know why. Okay. That's fine. It's on the record. You don't care. If we use it, it makes it charge slower. So. Actually, what do you want to do first? Yeah, go ahead, Trey. Yeah, you don't even like that's fine. I'm gonna assume you know the formula, but just tell me what is it called? It's called slope formula. You can tell me find slope. That's fine. You don't have to recite it. I'm gonna hope that you know it by now. So it's 3/-7. Um, because this is multiple choice and I really don't scrutinize it. Uh, this is the least evil of the fractions because this is the one that we're like slope is always a fraction or we use the same formula. And the thing is, even if you don't bother putting in the work to find the y-intercept, there's only one answer it could be. Or like I already know the answer. It has to be D. That's the only one that has a slope of -3/7. It's the only one. So I mean that's the worst case scenario. Trade it. But just to show you, because as a teacher, I don't like to leave it that way. You can pick any point. I already proved it to Ferris, so you can pick whichever point you want. I'll pick the first one. And just do y-5 is equal to -3/7, and then x minus 2. And yeah, this is a little bit more intensive because you really have to know how to work with fractions. Y-5 is equal to -3/7x plus 6/7. 3/7 times 2 is 6/7. Then plus 5 plus 5, y is equal to -3/7x plus 6/7 plus 5/1. What's the LCD of 7 and 1? It is 7. So y equals -3/7x plus 6/7 plus something over 7. The 7's get to stay the same, so the first 6 stays the same. On the second fraction, how did 1 become 7? How did a 1 become a 7 on the second fraction?
Wait, it's not 35.
I am going to end up with 35, but that's not the question I asked. I asked how did the 1 become a 7? So then you, well, no, because you would say it's times 7. That's what most people say. They say times 7. And then, yes, 5 times 7 is 35. So y is equal to -3/7x plus 41/7. Donnie knows that that's say D, and that's his favorite letter in the alphabet. I'll be looking at yours. Any questions? Party going? Ooh, graphs.
Wow.
What form is this in?
Point slope.
Okay, point slope. You could turn this into slope intercept, or I showed you how to graph out of point slope. I know I'm looking for a slope of -2/1 here. This one here is a positive slope, so I know it can't be that one. Besides that, I'm looking for the one that passes through the point 4, -5. Huh? What? So let's see, which one of these passes through 4, -5? It looks like A does.
It does.
Yeah, it looks like it does. 4, -5. It looks like it's passing through there. It looks like B does, but D does not. So, okay, that gets D out of the picture. So out of these two, I only have to figure out is which one has a slope of -2/1. And the only one it could be that's going up 2 and left 1 is A. Looks like B is the opposite. B has a rise of 1 and a run of 2. Did it now? Alright, so this one's going up 1. Like it looks like the rise and the run. It flips it over, so it had to be A. Rise 2, run 1. What form is this in? Slope intercept. So which one of these has a slope of +4/1 and is crossing the y-axis at -3? Well, these two here have positive. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I want positive slopes. So these have negative slopes. So I know it can't be these two. It's between C and D. Uh,
Looks like
between
it's no.
they're
I'm
yeah, yeah. This was an exact copy of that. I remember this. We had the exact same one 2 quizzes ago. But it was really close. I think this was number one on that quiz 2 quizzes ago,
yeah.
where one of them was passing at -2, one of them was passing at -3. You think if I were to give you the same exact one on the test
On this quiz
on Thursday?
on Friday.
Not Friday's quiz. The one Friday's quiz was writing. This was graphing. Friday's quiz, which we haven't gone over yet. Remember, this is the practice test. This is practice for Thursday's test. So Friday's quiz was writing functions, how to write functions in different forms, usually slope intercept. The 2 quizzes ago, which I believe you took Monday of last week, that was graphing. We already went over that one. There was one that yes, I did that on purpose, yes, to prove a point. Yes. I'm not sure. I think it might have been better this time around. Yeah, it actually was. You guys got it right the second time around. Okay, this one, what form is this one in? It is slope intercept. The slope is -3/1. The y-intercept is 0, -1. I can get rid of C and D here because those have positive slopes. And there's only one here that's clearly passing through -1. And these were missed the most. What form is this in?
Point slope.
This is point slope. So I'm looking for a slope of 4/5 and passing through the point -1, +1. So I can get rid of the net. I feel like this was also a repeat from the quiz on Monday. Not Friday's quiz, Monday's quiz. So let's see which one's passed through -1, 1. It looks like this one does. D does not pass through -1, 1. And it looks like this one here might. Pretty close. So it's between these two. So that and the as far as the rise and the run go, 4 and 5 are pretty close together. So you might have a tough time counting lines. So I would just do it by the numbers. And if I'm at -1, 1, remember this is rise and this is run. We know that positive slopes go up, right, and down, left. Let's just say we're going up and to the right. So if I was at 1 and I rose up 4, what would that put me at? If I was at 1 and I went up 4, use your fingers. What's 1 + 4? It would be 5. Thank you, Matt. And then if I was at -1 and then I rose up 5, at +4, yeah. So which one of these is also at 4 or 5? This one here looks to be like a 4, 7, so it has to be B. This one's a repeat from Monday's quiz, which I went over in class. What form is this in? Yeah, it is. It is. And I know this is a little more. I can at least I can understand why you would miss this with this other fractions. But A is 3/4, B is -1, and C is -3/4. So when you want the x-intercept, which is C over A, what's any number divided by itself? Because if I'm dividing C by A, what's any number divided by itself? 1. But what's negative divided by positive? So I'm looking for -1. And then as far as the y-intercept goes, anything divided by -1, the sign just changes. So which one of these is crossing the x at -1, but then the y at 3/4? Let's see. Here x is -1. No, not touching. Here x is -1. Not touching. Here it is touching at -1, and so is this one. But the only one that could possibly be at 3/4 it'd be this one over here, even though that looks probably a little bit lower than 3/4. We can't go by eyeball. It has to be C. Actually, no, I take it back. No, you know what? That could be 3/4 because I forgot they're counting by twos. They're not counting by ones. So that yeah, that looks like it would be 3/4. Mapping diagrams. This was also missed. Identify which one of these represents a relation and determine whether the relation is a function. So which here they give you the relation, and you'd have to make a mapping diagram of it. What's the difference when you make a mapping diagram? What do you have to make sure not to do?
Same random the same number.
Yeah, don't repeat any number. So like if you're looking for the inputs, the x's, the -8 repeats, so only write it once. All the y's are unique. So the only ones that it could be are either B or D. Let's see, the -8 goes to -6, the -8 goes to 1. So the only difference is whether or not this is a function. It can only be these two. Those are the only two that it could be, and the diagrams are identical. But is it a function or not?
Oh, no.
Yeah, you cannot have two arrows leaving the same x, so it is not a function. Okay, the only word problem. This is also the only one that you would type in. So if you're planning on doing the retake and you get this exact same problem, you're going to want to listen here. This function represents a number of jumping jacks in x minutes. How many can you do in 5 minutes? So if x is minutes and they want to know 5 minutes, what can I do with that 5?
5 by 30.
Well, put it in for x. So you would say j of 5 is equal to 39 times 5. This is function evaluation. We did that. We never took a quiz on this, but this will show up a little bit on the test. 195. And this is what I was telling you for the Google form. Just put 195. Don't put jumping jacks. Don't put y equals, or just put the 195. Because if not, Google gets confused, and you don't want to make Google confused. Okay, more function evaluation. These are the ones that had more than one line. What is g at -3? Okay, so here, g at -3, that just means you put in the -3 in for x. So -3 squared minus 2 is 9 minus 2, which is 7.
I don't understand.
Did I paste this question? That's why it looks all weird. That's why it looks weird. You didn't understand the question? You just had to answer it 3 different times, so. So like on the answers, there was a g -3, and then there was a bunch of dots going across. So you would just go to wherever the 7 was. I don't remember where the 7 was, and you would bubble in that bubble. Okay. Then the next one says x when g of x is -3. Okay. Well, when g of x is -3, you put the -3 on this side. So it would be -3 equals x squared minus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So -1 is equal to x squared. Yeah, okay, this one might be a little bit harder because you have to know how to get rid of a square. It's a radical. And if you put the square root of -1 in the calculator, you get undefined. So one of the options said undefined.
The last.
I think it was the last one. So for that one, for whatever, you would go to that bubble and bubble that one in. There won't be anything that hard on the test phone. Seriously.
You guys are asking for J.
For what?
It was like 3.
And there's one more. There's one more. Then g of 5 is just putting in a 5. When you put in a 5, what's 5 squared? 25 minus 2 is 23. So you would find 23. Like let's say this was 23, and then you would bubble in that bubble. There you go. You have one bubble on every row.
So which one's for the middle one? What's the G one?
Like it would have written this here, and you would have just gone to undefined. And then the last one was the same thing, but at least now you have a table, so there really shouldn't be any work here. Just look at the table. Find the following given the table. H at 3. So there's a way of saying that x is 3. When x is 3, what is y? -2. Bam. H at -3. Just look at the table. When x is -3, and this was missed the most. When h at 0, the thing is when it's inside So we learned that when you say f of x, the x is whatever's in the parentheses. If they put the number on the other side of the equal sign, then it's a y. But here the zero is an x. This is 1. Okay, and then now all of these, because they're on the other side of the equal sign, these count as y's. So when y is 6, what's x? -2. When y is 4, what's x? -3. Just look at the table. All I'm doing is looking at the table. And then when y is -2, Trayshawn, it's up here. 3. Thank you, Ferris. That's it. You're not finished? Alright, just go sit in the back because I'm about to go over this one more.